So today we're going to talk about the 10 traits of happy couples. There are plenty of traits that happy couples have, but in this video, I'm going to detail my favorite 10. Now, I want to preface this video by saying that happy couples or happy coupling begins with the happy self. When I was unhappy with myself, when I was codependent, living below the veil of consciousness and very, very wounded and lived in fear of rejection and abandonment and basically suffered from the I am not enough stuff, I was not a happy person. How could you be? I didn't think I had any value. And so my relationships were of lack. And below the veil of consciousness, what I did not understand was that very oftentimes in my taking care of other people, I thought and hoped that maybe they could read my mind and that maybe if I anticipated their needs, maybe they would do the same. So asking to have my needs met was a very frightening thing. So I didn't do it. And my relationships were messy, and especially my first marriage, which ended in a divorce. So on the road to recovery, as I learned to heal from codependency, I understood what it meant to be the adult child of two unrecovered adult children of alcoholics, and I did my work. And it took me a long time to finally let go, to surrender, and to learn to love myself, and to really put in the work I needed to do to heal from codependency. Ultimately, I discovered that I was enough, and that I didn't need a relationship per se to make me happy. Eventually, I got to a point where I wanted a relationship, and I was able to experience a very loving relationship, for which I'm very, very grateful. But like all things, a relationship is like a garden that you have to nurture. If you want a healthy garden, then you have to plant seeds, but you also have to water the seeds, and you have to offer it enough sunlight. You got to make sure the soil is healthy. And so I feel like if we want a healthy relationship, then we have to be the healthy soil. So we get healthy first. But that doesn't mean that if you're in an unhealthy relationship or a relationship that isn't as healthy or loving as you'd like it to be, that doesn't mean that you can't turn things around. So I want to talk about the 10 traits of happy couples that I hope will inspire you to dig deep and possibly even learn to love yourself more so that you can resonate this sense of happiness inside your dynamics. You never know what might happen if you do. So number one is respect. So happy couples have one another's wounds, respect one another's wounds and boundaries and vulnerabilities and their needs. So what toxic couples do is they exploit the wounds, needs, and wants of one another. So a happy couple is going to say, I acknowledge that you have this need and that's important to me. And I acknowledge that that's your wound and I'm never going to stick my finger in it. So many times when we're in a toxic relationship, we share our vulnerabilities with our partners. And before long, if we're involved with a very abusive person, immature person, what will happen is they will exploit the vulnerability that we share. That's a sign of toxicity. And if you're in that type of relationship, it's very important that you pay attention to that red flag. So happy couples have empathy for one another. So happy couples hold a space of compassion and love and vulnerability for their partners, and they witness for their partners how they feel. So it could be sadness, it could be joy, it could be a success, it could be grief. But there's this sense that my partner has empathy for me and they're willing to show up for me in this sacred way so that I can feel validated in what I'm experiencing. On the contrary, what toxic couples do is that they ignore the needs of their partner, or worse, they even exploit the needs of their partners. And so, Sally might come home from work and she might have had a bad day, and it's obviously that she's huffing and puffing in the kitchen, and her husband knows that she needs to be heard, but he shuts her out. He doesn't want to deal with this. So he walks into the kitchen and says, when you're going to have dinner ready. So there's this ignoring of and this lack of empathy for what Sally's experiencing. Happy couples don't do that. So if George had more empathy for his partner, he would walk into the kitchen and say, hey, babe, what's going on? Tell me about your day. So number 3, this is really incredible, and it seems so simple, but so oftentimes it's missed. So happy couples, or a trait of a happy couple, is this idea that they celebrate one another's successes, right? And so if you're in a relationship with somebody who celebrates you and wants to know about you and supports you, in my case, Anthony supports everything that I do and is absolutely amazing. What an amazing feeling. But when you're in a toxic relationship, what you'll find is that your partner may be jealous of your successes, and they may even want to self-sabotage your successes. And so healthy couples and happy couples don't do that. And it's important to recognize this if you're in a relationship and for you to know that a trait of a happy couple is to actually support one another's successes and dreams and goals along the way. The trait of happy couples is this idea of synchronicity, in that they wake up in the morning together and they go to bed at the same time together. And so they enjoy this idea of having this synchronistic relationship. Whereas, if you've ever been in a toxic relationship, maybe what you've noticed was that you got out of bed before your partner to avoid them, and you maybe went to bed to avoid your partner. So there's this idea that when we're in a dysfunctional relationship, we're looking to spend time away from each other and we're out of sync with one another. Another trait of happy couples is that they spend time texting one another during the day. And the texting is just another way to connect with their partner. So they don't spend 8 hours, 10, 12 hours away from each other without connecting. And it's actually enjoyed. It could be an emoji, it could be a meme, it could be anything. But it's this idea that happy couples stay connected throughout the day. When it comes to toxic couples, you can use texting to be adversarial. You can use texting as a way to abuse your partner. Or there's this idea that you spend 8, 9, 10 hours away from one another and you never communicate. Number 6. So another trait of happy couples is this idea that they like to surprise one another. And so when we surprise our partner with flowers, or we put a little note in his pocket, or, we leave a note stuck up against the vanity, what we're saying is, I thought about you and I actually acted on these feelings. So it's a way to take how you feel, this non-physical love and affection that you have for this person, and you bring it out into the physical. So it's a way to let your partner know through action that you're thinking of them. So surprising your partner is a way that you're saying your happiness is important to me. Now, when it comes to toxic couples, that is not important to toxic couples whatsoever. So toxic couples can get stuck in resentment, and what they do is they're so stuck in the resentment of the partner's flaws that their partner's happiness in this regard is just not important to them. Another trait of happy couples is this idea that healthy relationships, when we're in healthy relationships, we see the best in one another. And so even if there is a problem to be resolved, this idea is that we are a we. So in the case of toxic couples, what ends up happening is we do not see the best in our partner. And oftentimes because we know our partner does not see the best in us. And so instead of being able to come together and see the best in one another, even after a misunderstanding, the relationship becomes a power struggle. Another trait of happy couples is this idea that they're comfortable showing one another affection in public. I'm not talking about making out heavily in public. I'm not talking about being rude in public. I'm talking about touching, rubbing your partner's arm, touching their hair, maybe kissing them from time to time, a peck on the cheek, staying connected, wrapping your arm in between your partner's arm, maybe coming up behind them and giving them a hug. There's this idea that it's okay, and I want to show you affection in public. I am proud of you, and it doesn't matter to me who sees that I am affectionate to you. And in fact, it's important to me that other people know that I value you, and I am comfortable showing you that, and showing everyone that I have these affectionate feelings for you. This also helps a partner to feel like they think, let's say I am showing my husband affection in public. What that says to him is that I find you attractive, I find you important, and you are the number one person in my life, which is going to help him feel solidified in our relationship and trust that I actually care about him, and vice versa. When we are in a toxic relationship, what can happen is we go to great lengths to avoid our partner. So we're not showing our partner affection. In fact, we are withholding affection from our partner, or we're putting up signals and letting our partner know, don't touch me. Another trait of happy couples is this idea that we are welcome to discuss happy things and not so happy things, fun things and not so fun things. So happy couples understand that their identity doesn't lie in the outcome, and that their relationship is strong enough to withstand being able to talk through misunderstandings, or their relationship is strong enough to talk about, like I said, things that aren't so comfortable. The reason that happy couples can have these types of conversations is because deep within the core of their relationship is the understanding that we are going to look for an outcome that is best for the we. So the couple knows that it's not about a power struggle. It's not about winning. It's not about coming out on top. It's about, we have this situation, we're going to discuss it, and we can do it openly and lovingly, knowing that one another have the we that we are in the forefront of our minds. So happy couples, when it comes to sex, another trait that they have is that sex is about fun. Sex is about communication. Sex is about tenderness. Sex is about sharing. Sex is about, how can I make my partner feel good, and how can my partner make me feel good? So there's this exchange, this loving, tender exchange. And so it's about a commitment to one another to share this experience with one another that is all about intimacy, and it's about trust. And on the other hand, when it comes to toxic couples, sex becomes about power plays. It can become about aggression. It can become about dominance and control. At the end of the day, if you are in a happy relationship, chances are that you have a happy relationship within yourself. And if you are in a relationship that could use a little work, I can guarantee you that the more you work on yourself, the better your relationship would ultimately be, because you learn to trust yourself, trust that you have innate worth, and you bring that into the relationship. Your partner is no longer responsible for how you feel, because on an internal level, you're filling up yourself. You know that you are enough. And then we have relationships that we have to learn to let go of. If you're in a relationship with someone who is toxic, and thus your relationship is toxic, it might be time for you to renegotiate that relationship. If you struggle from codependency and you are an adult child from a dysfunctional home, chances are you may hang on to relationships a lot longer than you should, and at the expense of yourself. I hope that this video about the traits of happy couples has inspired you to dig deep and become a happier person yourself, so that you can manifest happier relationships in your reality. My name is Lisa Romano. I'm the Breakthrough Life Coach and best-selling author and the creator of the 12-Week Breakthrough Coaching Program. The 12-Week Breakthrough Coaching Program is an online program that I moderate myself along with a team, and it is for anybody who feels not enough. It is perfect for the adult child from an alcoholic home, a dysfunctional home, an unpredictable home. If you are the adult child of a situation that made you feel invisible and taught you that your feelings weren't enough, and if you feel stuck in your relationships, if you don't know how to set boundaries, if you don't know how to make decisions, or if it's difficult for you to make decisions, if it's difficult for you to know how you feel, the 12-Week Breakthrough Coaching Program might be perfect for you. I host this online class twice a year, and you can learn more about it by clicking one of the links below. If you're somebody who wants to dig deep now, if you don't want to wait for one of my programs to start, you can join my Breakthrough Warrior membership site. The Breakthrough Warrior membership site includes a copy of my book, many meditations, affirmations in my own voice, as well as additional programs that you can work on immediately. You also get access to an online community of people who are members of the Breakthrough Warrior membership site, and I also offer monthly live streams. The reality is, if you don't have life skills to know how to feel your feelings, if you've been taught to deny your feelings, then you don't know what you feel. And you can't, if you don't know what you feel, then you can't move forward in your life from a positive standpoint, because all you know is negative. All you know is how to live in survival. And when you're living in survival, you're looking for what's wrong. You're not looking for what's right. You find what's wrong in you, and you find what's wrong in other people too. And unfortunately, your life does not unfold in an abundant way. The good news is your programming can be changed, your subconscious programs can be healed, and you can reprogram your mind and enjoy an abundant life experience. Bye everybody, until next time.